Here in the Philippines, when you mention Jeep, not the jeepney or the owner type Jeep, mind you, but the Jeep from the US of A, well, the first image that comes to mind is the Wrangler. Tough, badass, expensive. In fact, I always thought that Jeeps cost upwards of 2 million Philippine pesos. So imagine my surprise when I found out that this Jeep Renegade that we have here costs below 1.5 million Philippine pesos. Intrigued yet? Well, stick around as we explore what the Jeep Renegade Longitude has got to offer. Let's do this! Hello guys, I'm Reagan and welcome back to another car review. If you're new to my channel, I want you to click that subscribe button for your regular dose of Philippine automotive content. If you're my subscriber already, well, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. But first, click that like button. Also, special thanks to Jeep Alabang for providing the Jeep Renegade Longitude to do this review. If you are within the area and you need a Jeep or a Dodge or a Ram, well, head on down here and check them out. For any inquiries, you may also contact the person in my pinned comment below. Jeeps have always commanded a premium price here in the Philippines, well, mainly because Jeep models are assembled in North America and the taxes and duties have a lot to do with that. However, this Jeep Renegade is the first Jeep model that is assembled outside of North America. The Renegade is built either in Italy, Brazil, or in China, which opens up a whole new world of affordable pricing for this renowned and rugged brand. Now, this Jeep Renegade Longitude variant that we have here has a price of 1,490,000 Philippine pesos, which is already after dealer discounts. Now, that pricing kinda raised my eyebrows because that puts this Jeep Renegade Longitude at the same price level as the other compact crossovers available in the Philippines. The Jeep Renegade may be the smallest and most affordable Jeep model in the lineup, but it comes in this cute and quirky package that also has a bunch of Easter eggs hidden all over the car. Now, the first Easter egg here can be found in the windshield. We have here the image of a Willys Jeep climbing up an off-road trail. So in case you'll need to replace your windshield because it got broken or something, well, you better get your replacement windshield from the dealership themselves. Otherwise, well, you might lose that Easter egg. Now, when you turn your attention to the front fascia of this Renegade, you'll see that despite being the smallest Jeep and the most quirky looking Jeep in the lineup, well, it still has that iconic and signature Jeep front fascia there. It gets the 7 slatted front grille here, although the actual openings for the grille are small holes found here at the bottom part of the grille. We also have a pair of circular headlights here that is well, an iconic design for Jeep, but these circular headlights are only just halogen. Now, when you turn your attention to the front bumper of this thing, you'll notice that it's a rugged front bumper. It's just made of plastic here, guys. Although it doesn't get the dual tow hooks that can be found in the Renegades that are equipped with 4-wheel drive, because the Jeep Renegades that we get here in the Philippines are just front-wheel drive, which is another way to help keep the price low. Jeeps are known for having a chunky and squared-off side profile, and the same can be said for the Jeep Renegade. However, it doesn't really get those sharp, squared-off edges that can be found in let's say, the larger Wrangler, but we get softer, more rounded edges right here. Still, the Jeep Renegade also comes with a pair of roof rails here that frame the panoramic sunroof. Yes, this thing also comes with a panoramic sunroof. And when you go over to the other side of this vehicle, you'll see the second Easter egg found here. You see, when you pop open the fuel filler cap system, you'll see that it comes with a capless fuel filler cap system, so that is pretty nifty, guys. But if you take your attention to the lower part of the fuel filler cap, you'll see an image of a spider found there, which is it's an homage to the rugged intentions of this Jeep Renegade. Well, it's just an intention. Now, when you look at the wheels and tires of this thing, you'll see that it rocks 17-inch alloy wheels, and these wheels are wrapped in 215/60 R17 tires. Behind these wheels, well, braking duties is handled by a set of 4-wheel disc brakes, and for the suspension, well, the Renegade gets a set of struts for both the front and the rear suspension. Now, for the ground clearance of this thing, well, the Renegade has a ground clearance of 170 millimeters, which is a bit on the low side for a Jeep. So that, my friends, is already a clue that this Jeep Renegade is really more of a city crossover. The rear end of the Jeep Renegade continues on with its fun and quirky design, and it even hides a few Easter eggs right here at the back. Now, the first Easter egg can be found on the rear glass, because we have here a tiny image of a Sasquatch going up a mountain right near your rear wiper blade. Now, the second Easter egg here can be found on the taillights. You see, the taillights are just regular bulbs, not really a big issue, guys. But if you look at the design, the silver design here, this is the exact image that can be found on the sides of a jerry can, which is being used in US military wheelie Jeeps. Now, when you pop open this liftgate, you will see the third Easter egg found here, because right there on the interior lining of your liftgate, you have here another image of the front fascia of a Willys Jeep. So that's your third Easter egg, just right here at the back. Now, when you turn your attention to the cargo bay area here, well, when you lift the floor, you'll notice that we have a donut spare tire here, and the floor itself is pretty flat, which makes it easy to load some stuff inside your Jeep Renegade. Now, speaking of stuff, well, it can accommodate as much as 18.5 cubic feet worth of stuff. But if that's a bit on the small side for you, well, you can always tumble down the back seat, which will create a fully flat cargo bay area here. And yes, that should be able to accommodate maybe a pair of golf bags. The Renegade may be a Jeep, but this vehicle is powered by a small displacement engine. Now, what we have here is a 1.4-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged gasoline motor that puts out 147 horses and 230 Newton meters of torque. Now, the power is sent to the front wheels. Yes, you heard it right. Front wheels via a 7-speed dry-type dual-clutch transmission. Now, we don't get the all-wheel drive variants of the Jeep Renegade here in the Philippines. So yeah, you gotta think twice if you want to take this thing out on a river crossing. Because, yeah, ain't gonna happen, guys. Being the most affordable Jeep model in the lineup, well, you can expect that the cabin of the Renegade will be on the basic and bare side, and you will be quite right. However, despite that bare nature of this cabin, well, there are a bunch of Easter eggs found here, such that if you are a Jeep enthusiast, well, it will definitely put a smile on your face. Case in point, the seats. The seats of the Renegade in the Philippines are wrapped in cloth, but if you look at the middle part of the seats, well, we do get some Jeep logos right there. Now, aside from that, we also get the front fascia of the Willys Jeep found all over this cabin. You can see that on the sides of this sensor found on the center of the windshield. We have that also on the speaker covers on the doors. Heck, we even have it here on the center cubby, right underneath your climate control system. And we also have that on the center cubby itself, at the bottom part of the center cubby itself, where it's appearing right beside what looks to be a a map of the Rubicon. And when you move over to your tachometer, well, the tachometer doesn't get a red line, but rather it gets what appears to be a splash of mud or even a splash of lava. I mean, yeah, it's pretty cool how they designed it that way, and it's appealing to the little kid inside of me. So yeah, aside from those Easter eggs, guys, well, the other practical bits of this Jeep Renegade is on the basic side. Well, the steering wheel is it's wrapped in leather, but I did notice that we don't get any cruise control function here. Now, for a vehicle that's almost 1.5 million Philippine pesos and it doesn't have cruise control, well, that's pretty much a bummer for me. But at least it gets a tire pressure monitoring system as well as the other safety and driver assist aids that you can now see on your screen. Now, this Jeep Renegade's steering wheel also tilts and it also telescopes, so yeah, at least you can find the perfect driving position in this thing. Now, when you move over to your infotainment system, guys, well, the infotainment system of this Jeep Renegade is on the small side. It's around 7 inches. It's a touchscreen. It's pretty similar to the infotainment systems found in the other Jeep lineups because, well, you don't really buy a Jeep for the infotainment system. But yeah, we get a 7-inch touchscreen infotainment system here, which has Apple CarPlay, thankfully, and Baidu CarLife. Now, the presence of Baidu CarLife in this system already gives you a clue as to where this Jeep Renegade is assembled. Small hint, China. Alright, now we also got the image of the reverse camera here, and when you go down from the infotainment system, well, we do have a manual climate control setup right there, and we also have an electronic park brake, but it doesn't come with an auto hold feature. Now, since we have a couple of cup holders here, guys, well, I was subjected to my clean canteen test. But since the Jeep Renegade is sold worldwide, I'm pretty sure it will pass. Yep, it fits my clean canteen, so it passes my clean canteen test. Now, to top off, well, literally top off the features of the Jeep Renegade, we do get a pretty large panoramic sunroof right there, which adds an air of premiumness inside this cabin. However, when you look at the cabin materials used here, well, it is on the rugged side. This is a Jeep after all, guys, and you will be forgiven if you thought that these were all like hard plastics. The thing is, well, it's not. You see, the top of the dashboard is actually made of soft touch plastic, and even the tops of the door cards. Now, we do get some cloth inserts here and some hard plastics at the bottom part. Yeah, but that's pretty much expected in a Jeep, and we even have a grab handle found here on the front passenger side just in case you decide to go off-roading. Yeah, but it's not really something that I would recommend, especially in this front-wheel drive Jeep Renegade. The Renegade may be on the smaller side when it comes to its overall exterior dimensions, but you will be surprised with the amount of space that you get here inside. However, before we go into the actual space itself, I did notice that the rear doors are on the smaller side, which I believe took inspiration from the rear doors of a Jeep Wrangler. But the thing is, despite being a smaller door than the one you have up front, well, these rear doors also open nearly 180 degrees wide like that, so getting in and out of the Jeep Renegade will be pretty easy. Now, going into the space here at the back seat, well, I'm 5'6", guys, and this is my driving position. And as you can see, I still get around 4.5 inches of knee room and a good 5.5 inches of headroom. Now, that's with a panoramic sunroof, guys. So yes, as I said, despite its smaller exterior dimensions, this Jeep Renegade will surprise you with the interior space. Now, when it comes to the amenities found here inside, well, we don't really get too much amenities here on the back seat. There are no AC vents, no charge ports, or anything whatsoever. Heck, even the seats themselves don't even have any bolstering on them. In fact, the seats here at the back kind of remind me of the back seats of a pickup truck, because you sit kind of upright and it's a bit on the firm side, and yes, you don't really have any bolsters. So yeah, if ever the driver decides to take this canyon carving, well, you will be sliding all over the place unless you decide to buckle up to keep you in check. Now, even if we don't get any amenities here, guys, we still get an Easter egg here at the back, which is similar to the one I found up front. Well, the rear speakers also has that iconic front fascia Jeep design right here on the sides of the rear speakers. Alright guys, so we are now driving the Jeep Renegade, and the first thing that I've noticed with this thing is just how big it feels from behind the wheel. You see, the Jeep Renegade is a compact crossover. It is a pretty small car, but sitting here on the driver's seat, the dashboard is pretty large and the hood feels like it's so far away from me. So while I'm driving this thing, it feels like I am piloting a much bigger vehicle. Now that could be an advantage or disadvantage depending on how you look at it. Well, it's an advantage in such a way that, well, if you feel like you're piloting a bigger vehicle, well then you will be a bit more careful when you're driving this around tight city streets. And that's going to be a bit of overkill because, well, as I said, this thing has a small footprint. Now, it's a disadvantage if it makes you feel like it's so hard to drive. Now, the good thing about this, though, is the Jeep Renegade's steering is on the light side. It doesn't feel hefty. It feels just right, in fact. It's a bit on the light side, yeah, but not too light to the point that you don't really feel anything. It doesn't feel like you're driving an arcade game in that regard. Now, the Renegade is a squared and boxy design, and because of that, well, the visibility of this thing is also stellar. We got a wide and rectangular windshield in front of us. It's nearly upright, guys, and we have pretty decently sized windows on the side. So yes, the visibility of this thing is really good, guys. I mean, you wouldn't have a hard time piloting this thing. Now, when it comes to the sitting position, I don't know if you noticed, but yeah, it's a bit upright. It's pretty similar to the sitting position that I found in, let's say, the Suzuki Jimny, which suits the name of Jeep, which is, well, it's an off-roader. So yeah, the sitting position will be on the upright side. It's going to be like a military sitting position. You're really sitting up straight. But yes, as I keep saying, guys, well, this is a front-wheel drive crossover, so yeah, it gives you that feeling that you are in an off-roader, but it doesn't really have that kind of capability. Well, since this test drive is just around the parking facility here near Jeep Alabang, well, I really couldn't show you the acceleration figures of the Jeep Renegade, although I can share with you what it feels like to drive this dry dual clutch transmission in parking lot speeds. As I mentioned, well, the Jeep Renegade is equipped with a 7-speed dry dual clutch transmission, and I'm happy to report to you guys that even at parking lot speeds like what we're going through now, it's not jerky. It doesn't feel unwieldy at parking lot speeds like this. In fact, it feels quite smooth, and it feels as smooth as a regular automatic transmission. Now, that's something I didn't expect because, well, we all know how dry dual clutches can be a tad iffy at times. But this Jeep Renegade's dry dual clutch, well, it is as smooth as some of the wet dual clutches out there. Now, having said that, guys, well, when you do come to a standstill, like let's see what we're gonna do now. There, I'm on a standstill. When you decide to go again, well, there is that noticeable dual clutch delay as it shifts from neutral to first gear. So that's something that you'd expect from a dual clutch transmission, and it's not really as pronounced as the other dual clutches that I've tested in the past. Now, when it comes to the cabin comfort of this thing, well, it is spacious. In fact, I'm quite surprised that the Jeep Renegade, despite the small footprint, really has a nice and spacious cabin here. So anybody who's like 6 feet and above can pilot this thing and it will still be pretty comfortable. Now, since I'm only 5'6", well, I feel like I've got gobs and gobs of space here inside. Now, when it comes to the climate control, well, it is pretty cool, guys, but it is important to note that the sunshade of the panoramic sunroof is a mesh type and it's not a solid type. But I'm not really feeling the heat coming from this thing, so I do believe that the glass that they use for the panoramic sunroof is like treated glass, because yeah, it doesn't really feel too hot. And to think that this unit doesn't even have any window tint on it, although yeah, it's not really that hot of a day today, but yeah, something to consider. Although I would need longer like driving impressions with this Jeep Renegade to truly see if that mesh type sunshade will have an effect on the temperature of the cabin. Overall, guys, well, the Jeep Renegade is it's a pretty decent for a city crossover. You've got gobs of space inside. Although granted, yeah, the visual quality of the materials used here, although they are soft touch, is really on the rugged side, which is something that you'd expect from a Jeep. Well, being a Jeep, it has to be a rugged cabin. At least the cabin would be rugged because, as I mentioned, this is a front-wheel drive crossover. So yes, you really can't take this out overlanding, guys. So yeah, but as a city crossover with that fun and quirky Jeep design, the Jeep Renegade truly delivers. The Jeep Renegade is an affordable entry point for those who want to gain access into the Jeep world without having to sell a kidney. It's got a quirky shape and some iconic design cues that identify it as a Jeep as long as you stay on paved roads. The thing is, despite having that legendary Jeep brand, well, the Renegade is not an off-roader. Well, it can drive over potholed city streets or the occasional light city flood just like any city car. And that, my friends, is exactly what the Renegade is. It's a full-blown city crossover despite having a Jeep brand and despite having a rugged Renegade name. Thanks for watching.